It feels like every week there's some change or addition to the Microsoft 365 Copilot app. And while this pace of iteration is exciting and appropriate for how quickly AI is advancing, it can make the experience feel somewhat intimidating. So in this video, I'm going to explore the Microsoft 365 Copilot app, explain the common paradigms we see there that can help you drive impactful use, and think about how you can make this Copilot anchor experience the center of your AI-powered day. My name is Nick DeCourcy. I'm a Microsoft 365 consultant who specialises in AI adoption for small and medium-sized businesses. I'm also a Microsoft MVP for Microsoft 365 Copilot. If you're interested in keeping up with advancements in AI, make sure you get subscribed to the channel and drop this video a like so you get to see more from me in the future. And if you're interested in working with me, check out the links down in the video description to get in contact. So if we jump over to my screen here, you can see that I'm in the Microsoft 365 Copilot app, the web version of it. So if I go to office.com or microsoft365.com or m365.cloud.microsoft, I can get into this experience. But if you have the app on your taskbar, you can also use it here as well. And 99% this is the same as the web experience. I do see some differences occasionally, but for all intents and purposes, it's the same experience that you're seeing there. And if you have that Microsoft 365 Copilot license, the full experience, down here in the bottom left corner of your screen, you will see that we have this M365 Copilot Premium badge, and that just shows you got that license assigned. And we're certainly going to look at some things today that you need that full Microsoft 365 Copilot license for. So one of the big reasons why you might use this tool, which does, in fairness, look very similar to using something like ChatGPT or using Claude, one of the reasons that you might use this versus using your personal AI account is because of this up in the top right, this enterprise data protection. So anytime that you're using a Microsoft 365 Copilot, Microsoft is guaranteeing that it's going to look after your data in the same way it does for all your other business use of Microsoft products. So the big one there is that it's not going to take any of your data and train its models on it or train a model on it. So once you see that badge that you've got enterprise data protection, you know that you are protected for safe business use within your organization with this app. So this is the kind of headline experience that we've got, this chat experience here, but there are other things going on in this app as well. For example, I have a search experience. I have the new Copilot search experience. If you jump in here, you do get the option to turn it off because it is new. I think it's still preview right now. But here I can search for different things. So I have a project going on in this demo tenant, and everything you're seeing here is demo information, where I can look for project breadcrumbs. So I'm going to search for that, and you can see I get a nice search view. I get to see all the different content that I've got within my tenant that I've got access to. That's one of the important things here, that you're seeing stuff that you have access to as a user. You're not just seeing everything from across your tenant. And I can come in and look at a file. I can get an overview of it. I can open it in Word. If it's a Word document, I can ask questions of Copilot here. So it's kind of a nice condensed way of finding information, and I can look at when it was modified. I can look at different types of results. So lots of different capabilities there. I also have quite a neat create experience here, and this is for when you're wanting to create something that's a particular type of output, like an image or a video or something along those lines. You can come in here and you can type a prompt and create something, and anything that you create here and pages that you create, we'll get to that in a couple of minutes, you can find in your library view here. So by default I've got pages as the kind of starting point, but I've jumped over to images. You can see that from some trainings I've been doing the last few days, I have some logos for this project breadcrumb that have been created for me. So you do have these kind of ancillary experiences within the Microsoft 365 Copilot app, but I think it's reasonable to say that the headline experience is this Microsoft 365 Copilot Chat experience. So as a Microsoft 365 Copilot licensed user, you do get to see this work and web option at the top. So let's talk through what this actually means. So if I jump over to web, then what I'm doing here is I'm scoping where I'm looking out to the web. I'm going out to the internet, and I can add in content to my prompt. So I can go and I can add something from my work content. So for example, I can add this bold summary about Project Breadcrumb. But that is the limit of what Copilot is going to look at from within my tenant when it goes and searches for something. So it's going to go out, it's going to look for the internet, it's going to use the file that I've added there as grounding or context, and then it's going to go out and look for an answer based on what I'm asking for there. So that's the experience that really everyone gets with Microsoft 365 Copilot Chat. What you add, if you get that full Microsoft 365 Copilot license, is the work option. And in the work option, I do still have access to the web. So you can see here, I have access to the web. I can use web results, but I also have a far neater context IQ experience, is what we call this, where you can pull in different content from across your organization. You can see now this has been expanding over the last few years. If you've not looked at this for a while, then we've got options like sites and channels and chats alongside our files and people, etc., etc. So I can add in content here, but I don't have to add in content. I can also just work from the basis of, I know there's something going on within my organization that I have access to information on. Can I get Copilot to go out and find something for me? So it has the ability to work across what we call the semantic index, which is an index of data that you have access to across your tenant. And because it's a semantic index rather than a keyword index, it conceptually has the ability to understand what you mean or what that content means, rather than just being able to kind of keyword search stuff. So it allows me to search in natural language and have a natural language conversation, and then Copilot to go out and find the right information. So let's look for, I'm going to say, give me an update on Project Breadcrumb. You can see here I've got some of my previous prompts that come up that I can use. So that's a helpful feature as well. So I'm just going to run this. But before I do, let me just focus on the fact that I'm running this on auto right now, and I do have the ability, I don't know why that looked like that. Let me just refresh the page. So, there we go. That's what we want. So I do have the ability to change the amount of thinking I want the AI model to do here. And I do have the ability to select other AI models as well. So say I want to use GPT 5.2 quick response. I could do that here. I'm going to come down and say, give me an update on Project Breadcrumb again. And I've selected quick response. So this should be pretty quick. So I'm going to go ahead and run that. And then it's going to give me a response. So that's going to go through and it does its search. So it's probably going to do a search that's much like the one that we just saw on the search page. It's going to grab information, much like the information that we just saw when we did that search. But instead of just presenting us with a list of files and being able to go in and look at them ourselves, it's going to actually reason through that content and give me a response. But within that response, it does tell me where it's getting stuff from. So you can see, I can see that I've got a file here. This is the one that it's got this information from. I can see things like I have a sensitivity label applied here. So always compliance is part of what we're thinking about here. And if I want to go in and I want to check, did it actually get the right end of the stick when it was getting this information from that file, I could just click into it from here and check that. And if what you're doing is something that's pretty sensitive or there's a lot of risk around it, then certainly you should spend a decent amount of time checking what Copilot is telling you. If what you're doing is a little bit less risky, if there isn't amount of impact that it would be from having a mistake there, then obviously you need to balance the amount of verification that you do based on what is actually going to be the output that you're looking for. So I've got this response here. I've got this nice response from Copilot. I can see the sources again that it's looked at throughout my organization to be able to give me that response, and I can follow up and I can continue having a conversation here if I want to. And I have options like I can actually I can talk to it with my microphone. I can have a voice chat with it. So I have lots of different options, and a lot of people now actually use that voice chat on their phone. So you can get the Copilot app on your phone as well, and then you can do your voice chat there as well. So there's lots of possibilities here. So say I want to take this output and I want to keep it for later. Well, one of the things that I can do here is I can create a Copilot page. So if I come down to this bottom set of options down here, and you can see I can copy my response. I can tell Microsoft whether I like it or dislike it. I can share my prompt with the response, or I can create a page. So let me go ahead and create a page. And a page is essentially a loop page that I can then work on. I can edit this, and I can go ahead and I can share it with other people as well. I can also create outputs from it. So that's one way of keeping track of what I've got within this response. I can also just have my chat, so I can come back to it later. So if I want to come down here and say rename my chat, so I know this is my really important chat that I want to come back to later, I could just save that. You can see I've got really important chat. If I move out of it to a different chat and then maybe jump back into it again, you can see that I can come back into that chat and I can continue chatting with Copilot, which can be really, really useful to do. And there are other useful things that we can do here too. For example, if I think this is the best prompt in the world, it's not, but say this is one that I want to use again and again, I can go ahead and I can save this prompt. I can give it a name, and I can save it, and then that's going to go into my prompt gallery. Well, where is prompt gallery? Let me just jump into a new chat. I'm going to look at these starter prompts that I've got underneath my prompt box. These are just things to give me ideas as to what I can do. And if I expand that so I see more and come into prompt gallery, I'm going to go to my prompts. You can see I've got that prompt there that I just created. And if I want to use that, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put that in my prompt input box there again, and I can chat with Copilot using that prompt. So that's a really useful feature that you can use to reuse important prompts as you would need to. So one of the things that's really important to understand when it comes to using Copilot and getting the best out of Copilot is we're now, we've thought a lot about prompts, and over the last few years we've talked about prompts a lot. And prompting is still an important skill. There are frameworks to create a good prompt, and we want to think about that. But we should also be thinking about the conversation and the value of the conversation. So I have this back and forth with Copilot, and I can also now have a back and forth with agents as well. And agents are kind of these frameworks where I can have the AI specialize in something. So it's going to specialize in a particular type of data or a particular output that I get. For example, I can mention the word agent in here, and then I can tell the word agent to turn this conversation context into a Word document in a certain way. Say I wanted to turn it into an executive summary. And there are a whole bunch of agents that I could use within the Copilot chat. If I come over to all agents here under agents, you see I've got agents that I can open up and create. I can get these ones that are pre-built by Microsoft. I can make my own. So say I want to come in here and, for example, want the idea coach agent that's going to help me with brainstorming. I can just add that from here. It'll take a moment just to add it into my Copilot. And then there we go. We've got the idea coach. So I can either start with idea coach, or I can mention idea coach in another chat. And when we do that, when we think about that mentioning, what we call that is actually conversational chaining. So we're chaining multiple elements of our conversation, multiple agents together to get a conversation that's a really good result for us. Another capability we see here is notebooks. So if I jump into this one that I've already got running here, I've already got a notebook. You can see that I've got this example of a notebook that I might use for managing an RFP response. So I've got an RFP specification, and I've got a whole bunch of documents from this company called Apex. And you can see that we have a summary of our notebook. Everything's in there. You could think of this like a binder where you want to silo information together. and we're able to chat with it and chat within the scope of this content. I'm also able to share my notebooks. I'm able to actually add custom instructions to my notebooks, you can see here. And so that's a really nice way of thinking about, well, I've got a particular set of information that I want to work on, and I want to just silo it off and be able to work on it maybe individually or maybe with my team. So the last thing that I think I want to show, or maybe the penultimate thing that I want to show here today, is if I come into a new chat, that idea of custom instructions. So whenever I'm actually prompting here, I'm giving the AI instructions, right, as to what I want to do. But there are certain things that I want to happen every single time. Like, I want you to respond in bullets rather than I want you to respond in a long paragraph. Or when I ask you to help editing something, I don't want you to rewrite it. I just want you to give me ideas. So what I can do is I can actually jump up here to my settings. And if I jump into personalization and into custom instructions, you can see that I've got some custom instructions here. I don't want it to rewrite my text, and that will apply to all of my chats that I have here. So that is a really powerful thing that you can do to customize Copilot. And I've got another video that's just on customizing Copilot as well. So the last thing that I just wanted to touch on, I think, is I'm just going to open Word here, because I want to show you that if I open a Word document, and in here I'm going to open Copilot. So that chat experience that we've just talked about in the Copilot Chat app, that is replicated in all of the other apps pretty much as well. So I can continue working on my chats. You see, I've got access to my chats here, like we just saw. I've got access to agents as well, and I can continue chatting in Copilot. So this chat experience is not just something that lives within that Copilot app. It's actually something that we can use right the way across the Microsoft 365 suite. And this is a place with Copilot Chat, whether it's in the apps or whether it's the chat app, where you might start your day. You're going to say to Copilot, hey, what do I have on my agenda today? What emails are important to respond to, etc., etc. Lots of processes can go in there. But hopefully this kind of flying tour of what you can do in that app and what these different features are is helpful to you. Now, this is just a taster. There's lots more that you could dig into when it comes to Copilot. So if you're interested in getting more training on that, then I do have a lot of other videos. Go take a look at them. But also, if you're thinking about training for yourself or for your business, please do go and take a look down below in the video description. There are some links where you can find out about my adoption support and training services for Microsoft 365 Copilot, and I certainly appreciate any of you reaching out to find out more about those. So hopefully this was useful to you. Thanks for watching through to the end of the video. This was a slightly different video to what I usually do, but hopefully it was useful. And until the next one, bye bye.